Hi everyone. Today is 18th of November, mid-November, and what an exciting time now. Um, Everything is looking hot, and I think it's much easier for me, to be honest, because compared to last few months, tough, not just for traders, but also for TA. This is much easier. Of course, if you go at a very low time frame, it's always challenging because at a low time frame, the trend doesn't matter. You have to be on toes each and every day. So that's the thing. When the market, the long-term market is good, it is better to track at a higher time frame, which we do. I'm just saying that if someone wants to track at a very low time frame, that means that person is ignoring the trend, because even in the bull run, that person is going to see a lot of dips and drops and so many, you know, ups and down, that he or she may not be able to appreciate the overall bull run. In fact, those who track below 1 day is not going to see bull run. That's what, and the same is true with a bear trend as well. In fact, so for those who track 1 day, or I mean lower than 1 day time frame, there is no trend for them in a true sense, because every few days or sometime even shorter, the trend, I mean the direction changes. So I think one has to decide that if this is really picking up, because you have to see retrospectively that Bitcoin started with 15K range and now it is in 35, 36K range and it's progressing. Does it make sense for me as a trader to track at a lower time frame? Because if you do, then you will never feel comfortable. Never, never. Even if it reaches to 50K or 100K, you're always struggling. You'll always struggle in figuring out what it wants to do next. So what we do in our weekly call is we try to see at 6 hour 1 day and then 1 week, and of course when the month ends we look at 1 month to see a different time frame where Bitcoin stands, and one has to decide what makes sense for them. But this is my experience, and I'm sure you are also experienced enough to understand that um, if you get a chance to drive with a cruise control, you should take advantage of it. This is my message. So if somebody, because somebody has a habit of doing in and out or feel fear all the times, I cannot help, because I would try to educate in terms of technical analysis or through technical analysis, but I cannot rewire someone. And that's not my intention as well, because I'm not going to teach anyone. Somebody has to learn. So there is a difference. I don't claim that I'm teaching, though I'm providing education, but I don't claim that I'm teaching someone. Somebody has to learn. And this is what I actually experienced from my musical journey. When I'm into classical music, and the way it is been taught in Indian classical music is they don't spoon feed. Uh, they don't do classes like we typically we see in schools and colleges, chapter wise or grade wise, or syllabus wise. We don't do that. It's you get to teach some learn. I mean, you end up learning something for 1 year, do nothing, um, very little thing, but to that is to make the fundamental solid for that particular subject, and then you just observe what master does, and then you absorb. When I learned from one of the top maestros, the first thing he said is, see my hands, because I play the percussion instrument. He didn't say that I'll teach you this and that. It is my job to absorb from him. He's going to play, he's going to show. Of course, you can ask question. I'm not saying just one way, but he's not going to see do this, do that, like a spoon feed like that. But how much I can absorb, and of course with some question, that's what is that's the learning part, and that's the best way. So I see the same thing in other subjects also. I think one has to learn. Nobody's going to teach, and right? But smart people do that. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to share what I know. I'm trying to show different. In fact, I'm saying the same thing, but from different angles with different examples and analogy. But those who understood, probably they feel that I'm now repeating. Those who are really, those who really got my message can clearly see that he is spending 1 hour but talking about the same thing, to be honest. And I don't mind if they stop attending my call. But no, but it's fun to have you on call. I'm not saying you should stop attending. Even if you understood, I'm happy to see you on call. So don't misunderstand me. What I'm trying to say here is I'm trying to explain the same thing from different point of view. You see, sometimes the price is different. Sometimes the patterns are different, but the core message is not different, which is the trend. I'm trying to explain how trend works. So if you learn the trend, then of course you can deep dive into patterns, which I explained through different examples. You see on my screen here that I explained this consolidation through this simple rectangle at this angle. Earlier, this rectangle was horizontal. When it had breakout, I had added this one. When you look at this drop, maybe I'll have to tune a little bit, not much. I'm not tweaking anything, but you can see that this yellow rectangle is like a magical rectangle, is actually covering everything. So do I have to do so simple two? You just have two drawings in front of you, but these two drawings actually covering everything that you need to know on a short-term basis. You just have to focus what it's trying to tell you. You see, that's what I do. I try to use minimum drawings and try to simplify as much as possible. And you can see that I didn't have to add anything despite of ugly drop like this one. Even this one was ugly drop. But fundamentally, structurally, there is no change. You could see that. Yeah. But think about it, if somebody is driven by their emotions, it's nightmare, you know. So nobody can help those people. Nobody can help. They have to help themselves through education. So every week I'm going to, you know, try my best to share how things work. And I'm sure it will make a huge difference eventually, you know. Yeah. And ultimately, after 1 year or 2 year, you should be able to see the difference where you are in terms of thinking, right? That's the thing. It's all, you see, there are two parts, as I always say. It's the technical, where you see all these levels, but the second part is the emotional factor, and that is totally with you, and it's something that you have to take care. And I always say there are, if this is a cart with two wheels, TA is one wheel, another is you, your emotion. If one of the wheels doesn't work or fails, car doesn't move. Yeah. So that's how it is. So it's a teamwork. You and me, like we are a team. So I'm doing my job, and I always try to enhance my skill and try to deliver a better quality each time. But then you have to do your another, wheel, and the second wheel that you have to take care on your side. And so if that fails, the overall the car is not going to move. It's going to crash. The car has to go, it has to progress. So both sides. So what I'm doing on that emotional factor, I'm just trying to explain, but execution point of it's up to you. Totally with you. So I'm sure you're learning and try to learn as much as possible. Now we see that with PTC, just this is a retest of this level. So this was also retest, pretty like, but scary, little bit scary, I would say, but not deep enough, which would trouble anything. I mean, it was not troubling at all. But yeah, if this would have gone down up to this level, then probably we would have a different situation, then totally different situation. But you know that what is warning level? Is a warning level at this level. What I'm going to do once it breaks out this level and goes, higher level, we are going to shift this level, these two levels higher, right? So the another thing that I would like to convey, most of the people ask me about the target, and I'm going to tell you something. Don't ask me for the target. Not just me, anyone. Don't ask anyone for the target. The idea is not to get out on target. Idea is not to find absolute drop because it's very hard and unrealistic. Try to get out when the support is broken. So the focus on support at a trend level, not just interim level, but a trend level. So the idea is you trail your support, like what we have started doing. You see where is the risk level? Was it at 30K in the past? The answer is no. Right now it's 30K. So it has gone up. You need to be patient enough to understand what is really happening. Remember, this risk level was at 25K just few days ago or a few weeks ago. Now it is not at 25K, but 30K. Imagine that if Bitcoin goes up further, this risk level and warning level are going to go up. We're going to trail it. You understand what I'm saying? This is so easy to understand once you have the levels in front of you. What is difficult is your mind. The mind is unrealistic. It does something, and you will laugh at it after 1 year or 2 years that how silly I was, right? And but that's okay because everybody start with silly things. Only thing, the difference is the smart people doesn't continue with the silly thing. That's the only difference between the dumb person and a smart person. Everybody starts with silly thing, but that's the only difference. The smart people doesn't continue with the silly thing. So if you're doing silly thing in the beginning, don't worry. That's totally normal. Okay, don't blame yourself even if you have done mistake. But the thing is, how long are you going to continue with those silly things? Is a question one must ask to self. That's the difference between the dumb person, or a person who doesn't understand, and a person who is smart and move on with something new, right? So that's it. So totally fine if you make silly mistake in the beginning, but it must not be continued. Right. So what I'm trying to say here is focus on support. Do not focus on target. I keep on getting questions and I feel sorry for those. I tried my best to explain on Twitter even. I respond with the same focus on the trend, focus on the support, because support determine whether the trend is going to reverse or not, uptrend. Similarly, when the coin or asset is falling and into bear market or downtrend, the resistance is going to be the driving factor. Remember, even in the downtrend, there's going to be bounce because the price doesn't move vertically. Remember, price always move in a zigzag manner, always. So what happens is, uh, even in the downtrend, there is going to be bounce, but then you have to measure the bounce, and then you have to see. Remember, we used to call that this height is not enough, because it was not enough from a technical perspective. We could not call out that we are in uptrend because that wasn't enough for us to. Yes, we can say this is a potential bottom. We can say that it might start new trend, and this is the condition and so on. But we cannot say at 15K or 16K, this is the bottom. We can say that there is potentially a bounce. So there are stages, and I always give this example that if you fall sick, so you don't fall sick. I mean, it's a gradual process. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about accident. I'm talking about falling sick. It's a gradual. You start with some symptoms, and gradually the sickness kick in, and then it progresses. And similarly, when you start getting better, it is not that very next day you are able to jog or you are able to go to your gym. It's a gradual process. Same thing in the market and the trend. When it is falling, right? One finds support, you see that it's slowing down. Then next, you see the bounce. That's a recovery process. But the recovery process doesn't mean you're cured health wise. You know what I'm saying? And then once the height of the bounce is good enough compared to your health, then you feel that okay, now I don't have fever. I feel strength. I can walk. Then you can say, okay, maybe if this continues, then I'll be able to jog as well. But the point is, this is a gradual, stepwise process. So the way you understand your health, you have to understand this is how the trend works. And this is I'm trying to explain. It's a gradual process. If somebody is impatient, that person is impractical, doesn't understand. It is like somebody sick and trying to go to gym next day. It's in the way. So we call that person insane if we have to call it in a worst manner. But we'll call that person impractical if you have to be nice. Whatever words you use, the point is, you know what I'm saying. So similarly, somebody has to understand. So this whole effort is about understanding how trend works. Yeah. So yeah. So what we are going to do in coming days or weeks or months, we're going to raise these supports. So you focus on supports. Okay. You don't care whether Bitcoin goes for 100K or 300K or 1 million. You don't care. Your focus is going to be on weakness, not on target. So the first focus is on the weakness. Then the second focus is, if it is weakening, there we are going to track what level it reaches or breaks. And one fine day, it is going to break certain level, and we can say that now it's in the process of reversing. You know, the opposite of what we are seeing from the down to up. Similarly, there's going to be up. There will be some time, yeah. It cannot go up for forever. It doesn't work like that. But the process is similar. So I hope this makes sense. Yeah, because I don't know, because yeah, I cannot say this forever, because you never know about the future, right? Whether we continue with this service, if I'm there or not. Smart people need to understand, um, because I may not be. I mean, situation could change, as you know. But before that happens, you need to know that how things work. That's my effort. Okay. Uh, so coming back to the present time, right? What BTC is doing is absolutely fine, fantastic. You cannot expect better. Look at the pump. After this pump, if it's not even consolidating sideways; it's consolidating on upside. And if someone is not happy, that person doesn't fit for crypto. That person should retire, do something else, maybe gambling. Yeah, because after such a big move, if it doesn't consolidate, not this is actually moving up. And so there's no way one could complain about it. Yeah, this is so strong, because this is so strong. I have no other words. Yeah, one cannot expect better things. So this is beautiful. And I hope this doesn't require any explanation. This recent low is to be monitored. This I think this you can use alerts and then say, okay, uh, maybe once it moves further, the warning level will move to recent low, and then risk level will move to warning level, which I'll post. Right at this moment, I cannot. But once this structure is broken about, let's say once it reaches 40K or something, then we can do. I'm just saying in advance. So next week, hopefully, whenever next week or a week after that. But that's what we're going to do. So you know what our plan is. What is our game plan? Yeah. But you have to cultivate the yeah understanding. And I'm, as I said, I'm not going to say you have to be patient. No way, because patience cannot be cannot be borrowed or bought or learned. There is no way you can learn it. It comes to understanding. Fear is free of charge. Fear is free of charge. You know, you will be fearful anytime. You can be fearful without learning. It's inbuilt. Patience is not inbuilt. It's a byproduct
Yeah.
of understanding. Okay. Fear is free of charge. We born with fear. Yeah. So I had to mute everybody. Sorry. Because we are recording this session. So the fear is free of charge. It can pop out anytime you want. Yeah. So, but patience is not like that. Okay. So this 6 hours, beautiful. Let's look at one day. Yeah, one day. Yeah. So I think it's now looking to make a move on the upside. This was nasty, but good that it stopped. Good that it didn't come all the way down. Otherwise, this would have created a big problem. Yeah. So recent low you will track. I don't think so. It's heading for 40K, by the way. It's heading for 40. Yeah. We'll see. So if once the 40K is crossed, I think I have one more level. So this is a range, and there's always going to be resistance. Yeah, there's on the way, because it has to reach to all-time high, and during this journey, it's going to face resistance. As I said, this resistance is not a target. Resistance is a checkpoint. Remember, even support is checkpoint. So resistance and support, I call them checkpoints. These are the key levels where you check out what it wants to do. It allows us to think. It allows us to plan. That's the whole idea. Okay. So price is moving up, and then we say, okay, where it might react in a big way or take some major decision, that's resistance. Similarly, when it drops, the support would try to defend. Resistance tries to stop or pause, right? So these are the checkpoints. So we just simply say, okay, what you want to, we simply ask what you want to do here. You know, as an analyst, as a trader, we try and try to see what it wants to do. So we first of all identify support resistance. When price reaches nearby, okay, then we are on alert in terms of finding out how it will behave. We don't know. Nobody knows. Think about it. TA doesn't know about how it is going to behave. What TA knows, where is the support and resistance. But then TA will pay attention, trader will pay attention that what it does, how it reacts. I'm explaining the process because this is very important. It's not resistance means you sell. That means you're assuming that resistance is the last resistance. That's premature decision. I'm not trying to give financial advice. Resistance is just that it is possible that becomes, it is possibly the last one. It is possibly, and that's how it is. But resistance cannot tell this is the top. Only the support can tell that was the top. Similarly, 15K, nobody can say this is the bottom. Only around 25K, you can say that was a potential bottom. But still, you will watch for that to of 25K to be to be held, sorry. And then you say, okay, once it breaks above 34, 36, then we can say now it is unwrong. See, similarly on top also, the one fine resistance will be the top, but it is not possible to say this is the top, ultimate top. But we'll be able to figure out weakness, and we'll have fair understanding that okay, where when it shows the sign of um slowness. So that's how things work. So I'm trying to explain the process. Okay, so one should be realistic in terms of expectation, because the unrealistic expectation actually triggers the fear. Think about it. Unrealistic expectation is the root cause of fear, and also the greed. Both, both sides, both are extremes. Greed and fear are extreme. One has to be right in the middle. So you have to be you cannot be biased towards anything. You see the greed factor right now. The greed factor is, I think, about 70, 80. There are always some, you can go to coin market cap. I think the greed level was 71, 77, something. You can always track. That means people are extremely biased towards, and near 15K, 16, I think the greed level, I mean the fear level was pretty high. And that's how people feel it. And what I'm trying to say is, you can master if you don't feel anything. Can you do it? If you can do it, you will win it. Can you not feel it? So it's very hard being a human not to feel it. So what I'm trying to say, think as a lotus. Lotus flower is in the water, but it doesn't touch the water. Think about it once. Okay, it's in the mud, it's in the water, but if you observe the lotus, the petals, it is dry. Can you be a lotus? If you can be a lotus, you got the nirvana in trading. And if you can do the same in life, you probably got the nirvana in life also. Not trying to be philosophical, I'm just sharing my experience. It's not different, no different. So the emotion is the number one killer. Okay, so I'm going to share TAs, like, but these things are more important, equally important, if not more. Right, so one day is looking absolutely fantastic. Let's look at 1 week now. Okay, so this is consolidation week. Like we had 4 back-to-back green candles, and this week is more like consolidation, a range bound movement, as you could see, right? But the low didn't reach this low. It's like within the same range as last week. We can say it has moved sideways in one way, from one, but the way is, it is near the top, not in the middle. So it is not sideways movement, but more like upside movement, which we could see on the 1 day time frame. On 1 week, when you look at it, it seems that this is like flat, which is fine because we are at a higher time frame. Remember, the trends are subjective to the time frame. So it depends on what time frame you see, you're going to see the trend accordingly. The trends, uptrend, when we say uptrend or bull or bear or downtrend, those are not absolute. They are always subjective to the time frame you select. That's why I always say, as a trader, one has to decide, I'm going to track this on 1 week, 3 day, 1 day, 1 month. You have to decide, because trends are going to be at different times. So what we do is we track at 1 month, 1 week for Bitcoin, and also 1 day, and then also 6. So you get all 4, spectrum in a way. So it depends on what you choose, you get inside of it. So that's how I have structured this call in a way. So you get perspective from 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever we choose, and then 1 day, then 1 week, and 1 month, whenever month ends. And so you get the complete information about 4 different time frames. Then of course you can decide what time frame makes sense for you. When we look at 1 week, if we look back in past, remember we had one arrow which we removed it because it broke about this orange resistance zones. It wasn't easy, by the way. I explained last time. It wasn't easy because if you zoom out, this zone provided support when it was in a bull run. Yeah. Then it provided support. You look at this one, support. And also it helps a bit here. But then this was a breakdown. So whole entire structure collapsed when it broke below this. Remember. So I think those who are with me, we had called out weakness when it was here, near 60K. Of course, and this is many people realize only after breaking below this, right? And that these are the facts. Uh, then, so point is, this level was no ordinary level. This was so important. In fact, when it dropped and broke, it tried. Look, zoom out. It tried to break about this, but it failed. You see, and then it made. So it's not that it tried hard here. So even it tried harder. So you imagine this breaking above this is no easy. So when it came to this level and tried to recover, so this was recovery. This level wasn't easy. So it tried, failed, but not deep enough. Tried, not just once. Look at the trials. You look at the trials. It failed, came down, but not deep enough. You see, and now then tried, and look at this. Look at this. So this was the success. And that's where we say the 34K level is more comfortable level. I hope you understand now. So this was no easy. And if BTC took time for it to break above, one has to understand why. And you have to tell yourself that it makes sense. It makes sense. It wasn't easy. And remember, this was a support line. This was rejected here. Remember, but it's supported here. See? Similarly, this was the support earlier, which become the breakout level. I'm trying to explain the anatomy of it, the life cycle of it, the structure of it for better understanding. Once you understand, then you will say, okay, the support resistance are not important. I'm not saying they are trivial, but the most important thing is to understand the structure. Because if you understand the structure, that's how the insight comes. That's where the real understanding comes. I mean, the understanding comes. Because without understanding this, you are going to be thinking in a very short term, and that doesn't help you, because every time there is drop, it's going to unsettle you, it's going to disturb you now. But once you understand this, you are better trader. You get that stability, that's how. So that's why we are spending time on this. This is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So it's following this trajectory. You see, we had this trajectory, dot, 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 dot. This is about the direction. This is not about the angle. Angle could change a little bit like this, right? A little bit higher, a little bit lower, higher. But you see, this is a mean. This is a median line, you may say. And then it's following this trajectory, this angle. Beautiful. So basically, if it continues, we can say by month end, by end of the year, we can say that it will try to be in 40s or 50, something like that. But this is not assumption. This is about the trajectory. So for an example, you throw a rock. It has a trajectory, right? Based on the force, you can say what you can say that what could be the trajectory, what could be the distance it could cover when you throw a rock. But what if right after you throw a rock, there is wind? You are not aware of that wind. What if that wind comes, heavy blow? What happens? It is going to change the trajectory of the rock, isn't it so? So when you see that the wind has come out of nowhere and it is going to change your trajectory, I mean, rock's trajectory in this example, you have to tell yourself that it's not going to fall or travel that distance as you anticipated, even though force was enough, even the initial condition was enough. But that situation changes. This is a pragmatic approach. But some people, think, don't try to change themselves. They are into la la land because, they are in their own world, fantasy land. We have to recognize the win. We have to recognize the impact of the win. Okay. And we have to be, I say, we have to be, what should I say? Um, we should be humble enough to accept that we have to change our mind. We have to be practical enough. So right now, there is no such adverse win we are seeing. So there is no need to assume there is going to be win. Some people are pessimistic in a bad way. And I say, they think about, oh, something is going to happen. And they, get fearful for no reason. And some people are in la la land, dream world. Even there is storm or wind like that, they ignore it totally. So not to try, not so not to be pessimistic, not to be even optimistic. Forget about anything. As I mentioned, the lotus example, I'm just trying to say the same thing. Forget, don't be optimistic, don't be pessimistic, and don't be anything. Just look at the progress, look at the recent past, and look at the present. That's it, with respect to the key levels. So it's so simple, actually. It is so simple that mind doesn't want to accept that, so it can be so simple. If it is too simple, mind says it cannot be true. You'll realize that our mind wants complicated thing. In fact, see, if somebody solve the complicated puzzle, you appreciate more. If someone does 2 plus 2 equals 4, you don't appreciate it. Why? Because you think that solving the difficult thing is a big deal. In reality, it's not. It's just we pay a lot of attention to complicated thing, and we try to appreciate. I appreciate simple things. The point is, can we just focus on the present and recent past? If we can do it, then it will help a lot. Okay. Let's look at monthly quickly. This is beautiful. So far, so good, right? So it's approaching this level. Yeah, it's going to be hurdle in between, but yeah, it's looking beautiful. And I see one pattern. I don't know whether you see it or not. I'll tell you after a month. I see a pattern. I'm just going to create a suspense. Yeah. Okay. I'm not just kidding. I mean, there's a pattern, but I'm going to tell you once afterwards. Otherwise, you're not going to pay attention to my call. I'm not kidding. I mean, there's a pattern, but I'll share with you. Once I see further information, I mean, more information, just to make sure. But it's a beautiful pattern, bullish pattern for sure. Okay, so let's look at our bitstamp. So we have 3 layouts. This is our third one, very simple one. No drawings. Yeah, no drawings. So one line I would draw. See, I'll share something. One of my friends, childhood friend, who has no understanding of finance. Today morning, I was just talking to him, and I said, so he said, I have free time. Sometimes I get bored. He's into agriculture. He has no knowledge of finance. Forget about crypto. He has no knowledge of stocks. Nothing. He's a simple person who would deposit his money or savings into bank. That kind of simple. I mean, and because there is no knowledge, so he cannot take any risk as well. So So I was just talking and I thought, what if I teach him? So I took a challenge and I told him that you give me a few hours and I want to make sure I want to elevate your knowledge level in a month, because I want to see if I can bring someone up to level where he can not just be able to invest, but also he can be above average to someone who claims that he knows something. So I want to see this, and I thought, are you ready? So he said yes. Tomorrow, tomorrow is Cricket World Cup. And so after that, he said, yeah. So we are going to start. So I thought, so it will be challenge for me to see if I can explain to someone who doesn't know anything about finance. Means if I say any one sentence, he's going to ask 10 questions. So I want to take that challenge and see how it goes. So it's going to be very interesting experiment. I'm going to, I'll share how it goes after a month or so. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to give my tools and knowledge and all. So I took this challenge. It's fun, and also he's my friend. So let's see. It's going to be very interesting. Anyway, comes back to TS stuff. So this is a simple line. You see, this it's trying to break this basically resistance. So using simple trend resistance line, you can draw. So it's taking some time here, right? So this trend particular line could explain what it's trying to do, which makes sense. Which makes sense. Yeah. I'll just keep this one line. As I said, you don't have to complicate things. So this is it. And now let's look at some reference data we track. We'll start with bonds. So bonds are perfect, isn't it? So this is amazing. Of course, this is not the last resistance. That's why we have one more resistance, remember? Yeah. But each resistance is a checkpoint. Now it has come down. It's proven that this was a valid resistance zone. You know what I'm saying? So now this is confirmed. Now it has come to this level, which is a support now, because prior resistance zone is a support. Now we would like it to go down and break below over time. So if it bounces, one should not be surprised. As I said, you have to have understanding that this is going to be bounce in between when it's falling. And similarly, when it is going up, there's going to be a drop. If person is not accepting these facts, that person is unrealistic. Yeah. So it's when it is going down, it's going to go up. And if it goes up and also bring down BTC for that time, one should not be surprised. It may not happen. It may happen. Who cares? But the point is, this is about understanding that it's going down. We would like it to see it continue going down and fails and eventually goes down even further and breaks this support. Because right now it's in rampage. It's on rampage. You see, this drop is tiny for now. Oh, look at that. Look at the progress, how it moved up, man. I recognized this one when it was here. Probably I tweeted as well. You can check my tweet. I recognized this much before. Yeah. Look at this. This is an amazing run. This is concerning. This is concerning. So from a macroeconomics point of view, we have good news, but we have to see that it real comes down, and breaks below this level. Then there will be big relief. So of course, the market, see, the market is forward looking. Even this is a spot market, the market is always 3 months, 6 months ahead in the game. The price that you see is not the present price. It's a speculative price down the line, 3 months, 6 months. You see, the big traders, big investors think that what might be the situation in the macroeconomics or economy, and then it tries to go for that price. So if the Bitcoin and the stock market is going the going up, it's not based on the present. The present is not fully okay. Okay, but it is the price of 3 months, 6 months down the line. And if they don't see that the present is improving, you will see that the price would come down. So the continuous improvement on inflation will continue the uptrend. But the price in the stock and the crypto is always forward looking. Okay. That's why it is, just in case somebody is thinking that the inflation is still high, why? Why it is going up? Because it's not about the present, it is about potential future. So this is another good reason that if the current price is not the current price of the situation, so if the current price, in other words, actually is the futuristic price, so you don't have to think about future because the price is the future. I hope you got it. The current spot price is futuristic in nature. So what you're seeing is the future. So why you want to know the future? You have to know the present to know the future because the current price is futuristic. So you see, I hope I'm making sense. So don't look for the future. The current price is telling you the future. If the current price continue to improve, that means the future is going to be better. You don't have to look for the future. Okay. Let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ has recovered. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. It bottom here. So ask yourself, was the situation and inflation was good in the month of December? Answer is no. So people who are fundamental analysts or economists will not say this is over. If they are not even going to say over, even now, if you ask the economists, because they have lag. They're not wrong. It's not about right or wrong. Only that the stock market and crypto are forward looking. That's why. But if you ask the real economy, if you go in the market, the inflation is still there. The interest rates are still higher. You cannot afford the house. The loans, the mortgage is still high, right? But the price is forward looking. So that's why the TA technical analysis, I love it because it doesn't have lag. Technical analysis cut down the lag. It recognizes the market. So I don't criticize fundamental analysis. FA is good, but the FA is not good enough. You need TA, you need combination. You need to know macroeconomics and you need to know TA. But I go forward and say, even if you don't know FA, you can still survive and do good with TA. But vice versa is not possible. Just with FA, you may not outperform. I'm not saying without you must to have TA. So let me clarify. If you have TA, you can find out bottom and top early enough. That's what I mean. Means you can time it in a better way, right? If you know FA, you can still be good, but you cannot extract the advantage. You cannot take the advantage. You cannot extract the juice, out of it, because these are real opportunities. See, buying at 60K, the Bitcoin when it breaks above is one thing, and buying at a 15K or 20K is a different story. You know what I'm saying? And technical analysis. I'm not saying about my TA, any good TA. I'm talking about the TA as a subject. That's why technical analysis is very important. Very important advantages. Yeah. So it bottomed here when there was no sign. Similarly, even crypto bottomed here, BTC. Now we can say that. Yeah, so that's the beauty of technical analysis. That's the real beauty. Let's look at DXY. Okay. Okay, chart. Yeah, this is where we have. I hope you love this. Yeah, so this is the path. We can always tweak this path. Remember, I told you this is zigzag manner. Yeah, we can extend this. So well, I think it's going to land here. It's going to land here. Maybe I'll like this. And it's likely to bounce. after this, right? Because it doesn't fall free fall like this. This was crazy move, but we are likely to see the mirror image of this. So it is likely to come down, maybe steeper than what I think. So I'm what I'm tuning, I'm just tuning the angle. You see my point. I'm not changing anything major. This is just a depiction visual. What it looks like it's the fall is aggressive, like the rise was aggressive. The fall is aggressive. I'm just changing the angle now. Probably. Yeah. Oops. Just adjusting. This is a practical approach. But this is so lovely because this was the last resistance. Remember, a critical one. Glad that it didn't break about. But see, these are the live examples how technical analysis work. Okay, I'm not trying to say anyone who is good enough can do this thing. Yeah. So look at the advantage we have. Look at the advantage. Thanks to TA. So I don't thank me. Thank TA as a subject. As because I'm a promoter of technical analysis. Yeah, of course, I get benefit out of it. But point is, people criticize technical analysis. They think it's a voodoo science. It's not accepted by the mainstream, to be honest. They think that the technical analysis is just, okay, something, you know, but it's not just something, it's a big thing. And my effort is to prove that technical analysis is no ordinary thing. In fact, if you don't need anything, but if you have TA, you don't need anything. So I am in a journey to prove that point, to make that point, not to prove, but make that point that you don't need to know anything. Okay. I think there's so many TA with a bad reputation. Sometimes what happens, let's say if there is some kind of a science, but if there are so many bad people or ordinary people who are, then of course your perception for that subject is not going to be good. So technical analysis is a subject where people don't trust it because because the overall quality is poor. So person like myself and some other probably they have to struggle because how to highlight that you are good, it's very difficult when there are ordinary people around. So that's why the technical analysis is not so appreciated. The fundamental analysis is appreciated the most, unfortunately. But don't worry, I'm in that. I'm going to try my best to prove them wrong in a way, make a point that this is not a voodoo science. This is a big thing. This is a big thing, you know. So let's see. I'm going to contribute whatever I could it from my end, the field of technical analysis. Bitcoin dominance is still high. So this is a lovely chart. I mean, you see I mean, this is so beautiful, reacted and supported. You see, so the trend is not dead. Trend is still strong. You can clearly see that. I'm tired. I don't know why. Today I'm feeling tired. I feel like taking a break. Ah, man. Sorry for that. But yeah, um, look at this beautiful. Um, it's bouncing. That means the BTC is still strong. That means the ordinary coin are not going to do well. Don't worry, we have beautiful coins, lovely coins. They're doing really well. Yeah. So that's good thing. Um, I don't like Ethereum's price action, to be honest. Somehow it's dull. Anything that is not outperforming BTC, I think we should we should have reason to doubt them. I'm not going to decide on, but I mean, we have to see how they do, over time. But yeah, anyways, coming back to dominance, the BTC. So if the BTC is good, So the altcoin has to do better than BTC. Otherwise, BTC is good, then BTC is the coin. Sometimes people think that BTC is just for reference, you know. But if the BTC is doing better than the altcoin, then it's not reference, it's the coin, is the coin, right? So you have to understand that it's, of course, it's used for reference, but people love the altcoin. So I would say altcoin is good only if it is outperforming BTC. Common sense. It's not deal. It's a common sense. The Bitcoin dominance, in short, is still high, still strong. Uh, it will be troublesome for ordinary coin if it goes higher than this. Yeah, the coins that we are selecting will still do even if the dominance go up. That's the beauty. Yeah. So some people think that Bitcoin dominance goes up and the alt go down. They're wrong. We are choosing coins that are not going down when the BTC goes up, dominance goes up. Yeah. So don't listen to me. You have the proof in front of you. We have Bitcoins. But I'm just highlighting a couple of coins are dull right now. So I would I wish I could change. Some people will have to see. I might change if they don't change their price action. Anyway, so here I end part one BTC and reference data. I hope you liked it. We'll look at part two, all the 15 swing coins. Hope you like this one. Feel free to ask me, as I always say, if anything is not clear. All the best to you.